Testing 1, 2. Testing. Do you read me? I'm just kidding.
First off, praise to the Most High. Glorious you and you are the ruler, it's in you that my hope lies. Faux God, no lie, no bite, I don't play both sides. Been sold out with the windows down, truth music blowing at the whip so loud you repent when I roll by.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you guys are watching us. We are back with the questions that people were asking us on the channel. So right now, currently, we've just cracked over 1,000 subs, which is awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it so much. Just got to get our watch hours up now, so we'll be working on that. But we're going to still try and keep the quality content that we can do. So hopefully you enjoy this. Quinny's going to hit us with a heap of questions that have been asked.
Yes, so okay. We have our first question from the YouTube comments. That is from Jake Walker. And he said, when did you do your first tip-in/drift and how was it?
My first tip-in, I probably don't know because I started driving at a very young age, which was probably in like one of Dad's like Toyota Surfs or Delica or something. Those, Mitsubishi Delica's ultimate family wagon four-wheel drive, mate. That's a weapon, those things. It's probably one of them, but my first car was a Laurel, so like official ban or something would have been in that. Probably somewhere in Burleigh, but I can't disclose the location for safety reasons.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Heaps of tracks around, Just tracks everywhere. You can just go to the track and practice, They're everywhere around here.
We have our next question from Psychotic Drifter, and he said, where's your favourite track in Australia/Queensland and why?
Favourite track, which is funny, it's not even a track technically. It's a course. Mount Gambier for Drift Challenge Australia. That course down there is the best. Anyone who's drifted down there, it's just the sickest thing. It's a street course in a park, over a crest. When you're like 6th or 4th car deep behind people, you can't even see the first car over the crest. It's just that much of a, drops down. It's just the sickest. So tracks in Oz that I've, or areas I've drifted at, that is mad. Queensland, there's not any good tracks in, like Archie's great. QR's like a high speed thing, but yeah, there's not really anything here. I mean, there's tracks everywhere around here, so. Next one would be like Raleigh Raceway in Coffs Harbour. I love that because it's just got elevation, so it's like big entries down hills. That's pretty much my favourite, just due to the amount of speed that you can get on entry. So, yeah, that's what it will be for that.
Yeah, nice.
Really good in Queensland.
We have another question from Redline Reaper. He said, did you guys build the Mexican Hoon Cartel's Mighty AU, the black one? Mexican flag.
No. No, we did not. Simple answer. They've got our steering and things like that in their car, but no, we have not. No, the bloke's done it all himself. Can't take any credit for it. He did it all himself.
Nice. Okay, we have another question here from Callum Hennessy, and he says, my question is, when are we gonna see a big turbo single cam drifter/built single cam in general? I think the AU13 deserves some good power.
Soon, I'm actually planning, so the white car, the drift white car, we're going down to Mount Gambier in November. So I'm planning to have big turbo on that and all that stuff with the 6-speed in it, because we're going to drive them down. So, and the T5 gearbox will explode with any more than 200 horsepower. It's going to explode. So I've blown up already plenty with the standard power it has. It's like the 4th gearbox in it. So no, 2nd gear will just be gone. There's no point of that. As for the AU13, that car is purely to be a beta, to just be on limiter for as long as possible. So putting a turbo on there is just going to create more heat, and the thing, it doesn't need any more power. It spins 3rd gear on limiter. at Archie, and it's a tight course. Like the AU itself doesn't do it. It's got plenty enough power, that thing. So that AU13 staying the way it is. Yeah, Shannon doesn't need any power. Shannon's got a over 500 horsepower 180 SX with a fully built RB25 in it. He doesn't need another powerful car. So it's meant to be a fun car to crash, not a car that just kills tyres after tyres, because it just gets expensive. Tyres aren't free. At least I don't get any tyres for free, so that's expensive.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so we have another question from Evan Schroeder, and he says,
Almighty Evan.
Is the Intec S13 an AU house secret for now, or are you willing to disclose the finer things about the swaps so that the number of them can potentially multiply in the future?
They're already multiplying, but however, no, there's no secret. And very soon will be, like I said, there's a few other cars getting built with Intec, so we're going to be reproducing the engine mounts that I made for that car, which they were actually for my car, but my car's that car can wait for a moment. So we put them into Shannon's AU13. So they're just gonna we've got to pull a few things out of it. We've got a bit of clutch issues with it, so we're gonna pull that out. Remake make a jig for the mount, so we'll just sell the mounts. And other than that, everything just goes in there pretty easy, like the tunnel, and it's pretty basic actually. So yeah, it goes together pretty easily. No secrets there. There's no need for it. We just want everyone just to drive.
Very
Let's
nice.
do it.
We have another question from Jason Sardi, and he says, I have a question. What is the ideal way to cook roast chicken so it is both tender and juicy?
Third gear limiter drop. You just drop third gear limiter. If you can't, second gear limiter. I don't know.
Very good.
I just buy the chicken. I don't cook stuff. It's for my own safety. I don't cook food, and for other people's safety, I don't cook food. I'm basically a food hazard when it comes to food. So no.
Put the chicken in front of your exhaust on your Fairlane. Wait for it to backfire. Bus.
Ethanol season on your chicken. We can do that. Don't know how healthy that is. Might be, yeah. I'm not recommending that, by the way. Don't do it.
All right, moving on.
Though.
Moving on. We have another question from E2 Pispar. He says, will you guys be making rear coilovers for AU wagons?
100%. We will be, yes. We are still waiting for the suspension to come in, so we can basically base that kit to make some adapters to make that work. So the supplier can't make those things, and it just takes far too long for them to design it. So that's something we're going to design ourselves and just test fit ourselves. So we're just going to get the base of what we have, we can buy, and we're just going to make some accessories to fit to that. So we don't have to kind of order specific. We can order the certain kit that we want, and then whatever you want, or we can just add that to it and create the coilover that it needs to be for your car. So yes, but I don't know when. But yeah, it's probably going to be next year, to be honest, with everything that's happening. But I do, because yeah, we want to make sure we can do everything. The fit ute obviously as well, so we want our ute to have coilovers all around.
Cool. We have another question from Matthew Moscow. This one's actually quite interesting. It says, where did Obarry's come from? What's the story behind the name?
Okay, so Obarry's, those who don't know, AU House is something that we've done more recently after years of driving Falcons. AU House is our original business and stuff like that, and our drift team from years back. And it basically started by a mate of mine from Kamikaze Motorsport. He just used to walk around and say, "Oh, Barry," all the time. And then I just started saying it. And then people just started calling me Barry. And then we just made a team. And then we started this. So it just comes from just a long... The time gap, I don't know how long it was. But yeah, it just came about. I just kept saying it and we did it. And here we are. I don't know much more I can put to it. Like, it's a bit of a laugh, actually. But, yeah.
Nice.
Those things happen every time.
Okay, we have another question from
What have we got?
Forex Gold, and he's asked, or they have asked, can you put Barra injectors on an Intec?
You can. They've got the same plug. You just got to see, because a lot of the Barra injectors, they're not that much bigger. And a lot of Barra injectors are the same as NA injectors. They just run a bigger fuel pressure and then obviously the tune. But yeah, it's most likely not even worth it, because they don't even make that big of an injector. So I was shook when I found out. I was like, oh sweet, I'll just put these in. And then my tuners just looked at me like, they're not any bigger. I'm like, oh. So the chances are the size of the injector is probably not big enough anyway. If it's out of like a BA or a FG or something like that, it's probably not even worth it.
Nice.
What have we got?
We have another question from Lachlan Collins. He says, up the AU, love the videos, boys, favourite channel. Will you guys ever drift in Mexico? Also should make a full drift vid edit on track or in Mexico. Keen for the next vid.
I don't even know if it's safe to go to Mexico. I mean,
Corona.
you could ask the Mexican helicopter. Maybe they know how it is, but I don't know. But I think we would like to, if we could go to Japan, maybe America, it'd be mad to jump on with Cletus. That'd be pretty sick to go there. Send it with him. That'd be pretty rad. But maybe in due time, might not happen. But we'll just see what happens in terms of that. But yeah, I really want to do America. I really want to do Japan. I do have some contacts in Japan. So yeah, I'd like to take the AU to Japan. It'd be pretty fun. I haven't been to Japan myself, so I've only driven in this country. So yeah, maybe Mexico. I don't even know if there's anything in Mexico to go to. So if you know where there's a track in Mexico that drifts, let us know. Then maybe we can find someone from there, talk to them, and see if we can actually do it.
Nice.
Without dying.
We have another question here from OG Street. He says, if you could drift the AU at any track in the world, which one would it be?
Oh, if you asked me probably like 6 months ago, I would have just gone 100% Ibisu circuit in Japan. But I'm kind of loving the thought of Nürburgring in Germany. I've been playing a lot of Forza Motorsport 7, and I'm just like, something about it, because it's just so long and there's no the same corners. Every corner's different. So I'm like, kind of that intrigues me, but I still think slightly Ibisu jump. AUs love being sent, so why would I not want to take it to Ibisu and jump? So I reckon Ibisu. I think it's Minami that has the jump, the big famous jump. So yeah, Ibisu.
Nice. We have two more questions from OG Street. The second one is meat pie or sausage roll?
Oh, that's tough. I love both. I'd say probably pie.
Nice. And the third question is, what's your number one pet peeve?
My number one pet peeve is idiots. I don't know. I think just... I'd say people inconsiderate of others. That's probably my pet peeve, to be honest.
Yeah.
Be considerate of others. Things will roll around pretty smoothly, I think.
Yeah, cool. Okay, we only have a few more questions left. This one is from Josh Fuller. He says, what got you fellas into Fords? Any advice for people starting out and wanting to get into drifting?
Fords, AUs. Initially, so as many of you know, I started drifting my C33 Laurel back in the days. I bought a Ford as a tow car, and a lot of it just failed. Yeah, it's kind of why I do Fords now, because the amount of pain I went through working out what was wrong with that car, that was torturous. But I initially went to AU because it was like, when I was looking at it, so I'm a mechanic by trade, so every time I was servicing a car, I just looked at the simple part of it, like easy to modify, easy to lock the diff, easy to put springs in, easy to modify the steering, and cheap to get, enough power, holds it, like just the factors where you could just be auto, basic, go. And that just was it. So I didn't look at BAs, the same steering setup. It was like, you got to remove the whole rear end. I was like, that's just too much effort. I'm like, we'll just go AU, simple weld diff, done. So that's how I did that. And for anyone starting, That's why they're so good, because they've got enough power to hold first gear. You don't need to change diff ratios. You can literally just lock it, and it does do pretty well. Like, obviously, if you change diff ratios, they do a whole lot better. But just to start off with, like, you don't need to do that much, and it is pretty good. They hold the power in the first gear, and that's the main thing. A lot of Commodores, or I think all Commodores, don't hold the gears, so don't know why you'd want that, changing gears on you all the time. And you don't need to go into second gear, which is good because it won't kick down, so you know that always come on. The problem in my Fairlane is going to the track in it. It's got horsepower, but it will spin in second, but it will very often kick down to first and change gears. However, and that's sketchy. So staying in first gear is like prime. So you want to start, you want to have something readily available and durable enough. They're just so durable, these things. I can't believe how strong these cars are. Like, I've driven on walls and it's fine. I've also crashed other cars and they weren't fine. So the AU's tough.
Nice.
Yes, hit us.
Okay, Jason Sardi has another question. He says, how do you set up an AU XR6 independent rear end for drifting?
The independent rear, they're probably the best, like, rear ends. I haven't done too much apart from my own Fairlane. I just kind of set up like I would on my Sylvias and S13s and all that stuff. Just pull as much camber out as you can and just set pretty like slight toe in, and that's all you really got to do. Just driving my Fairlane around that, the amount of grip that thing has is just ridiculous. Like, even in the wet on like 215 tyres, it actually has so much grip. Even though it has the power, it just still launches. Doesn't break traction. Not like the solid axle, like the Ute and the Wagons and just the normal solid axle. It breaks traction too easy. So yeah, the independent rear is so good. You don't even really have to do much to it. Coilovers, and it's basically, they've got camber adjusting bolts, so you can adjust that just by itself. Yeah.
Nice. 2 more questions. If you had to build your money, no object AU using only Ford parts, no off-the-shelf parts, custom-made parts, etc., what would you do?
No budget build. Oh, that's tough. See, I don't like wasting money on things. I just like to be efficient. It's a bloody tough one. I think probably like, IRS rear end in the AU. Redo the whole cross member to truly get every bit of bind out of the suspension. So it'd almost be like a wise fab, but not a wise fab kind of setup in the front end, where I just change the steering rack position and the low control arm mounts so it can allow for the rack to not bind up a bit when being low. And then I think just fully build, de-stroke the single cam AU motor. Yeah, de-stroke it, put the head, big cam, valve springs, just twin fuel system, full cage.
Those NOS.
I don't think I'd even go NOS, but just the right turbo, the right ECU. Just have like essentially a V8 supercar, but just a drift car. So it's got all the things it needs. Just hop in, good to go. And then along with that, like a good trailer, so it sits nice on the trailer and all that. So I'm one that love towing a car to the track is also very important because you spend a lot of time towing to different tracks. So your kind of whole setup really just changes the whole weekend as well, how you drive that car. So if you're fighting the whole way down towing your car, chances are you get to the track and you're pretty over it. You don't even get to use your car to the full extent. So stop me before I go on a complete different tangent.
All right, okay. One last question. He says, also, why not do a budget build road trip, set a limit of $1,000 that includes car, mods, travel, etc.?
$1,000 these days does not get you far, so it'd be depend where you want to go. $1,000 won't get you much. Like, considering rego for an AU is like $500, and an AU is $500. your budget's at Department of Transport. That's about as far as going for $1,000. So we're thinking of doing maybe something like $5,000, spend $1,000 on a car to then kind of make it hectic or coolish, and that's literally just go onto Gumtree or Facebook Marketplace and just find whatever we can find on a budget, do what we can do to spend up to that, whether it has rego or doesn't have rego, so we need to account for that. But I don't know if it can be 1,000, like it might have to be like 1,500 or like $2,000 like tops. But it's quite hard to get something decent-ish. I mean, people are asking thousands of dollars for things that are rolling with no engines, so yeah, definitely something on the cards. We did have our little Mazda lined up, but she's seriously deteriorating. So Quinny's a bit sad. It's his old girl.
It's my first car.
It's his first baby, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's seriously deteriorating. So we were gonna do that, but I don't know if it's even worth doing it. So see what happens with that. But yeah, definitely on the cards. We want to do some budget builds. Just fun, like fully non-AU related, just to whatever car it is, just to have some fun with it. Probably won't be an AU because the price of AUs are up a bit, so probably charade or something like that. Would be good fun. I want to do a charade. I love charades. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Bit of a slow one, but yeah, really want to do a Q&A just for those side of things to get a bit of what do you guys want to ask us, things like that. So appreciate that. Give us a like, comment, subscribe if you can. On that video if you want, if there's more questions, and we can probably answer that while we do other builds and things like that. I appreciate all the support, guys. Thursday we've got another video dropping. It will be the giveaway, so hang for that. We're going to give away 2 prizes to people off the YouTube and a prize for people off Instagram. So keep an eye out for that. Enjoy your week. Catch you soon.